Hi, welcome to Listen in Colour with me, Rachel Walker-Mason. I love Hamilton. Okay, here we go. Jonathan Groff. Groff Sauce, as he is known.
You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry in your tea, which you heard in the sea when you see me go by. Why so sad? Remember.
Should pause it at that moment. My kids do that. Why so sad? They love doing that face. Oh, I love this song from Hamilton. It's so brilliantly written, and it's so different to everything else in Hamilton. The King comes on another couple of times and does a little reprise of this song, but it's pretty much nothing like anything else in the rest of the show. As most of you who know Hamilton will know, the rest of the musical is pretty much hardcore rap and hip hop and a bit of R&B, and then there's this song, and it always slightly makes me laugh when there's, I don't know whether they do this in America as well, but certainly in the UK, where there's a big musical theatre kind of compilation performance where they do a little bit from Heathers, a bit from Hamilton, a bit from and Juliet, a bit from Les Mis, a bit from Phantom, etc. They tend to have like one song featured from each musical. And the one that they always do from Hamilton is this, which I always think is hilarious because people who don't know the musical will go to the musical thinking, oh, all the songs will be like this, and they're not. So sometimes it can be a lovely surprise that the songs are completely different to this, and sometimes people are quite shocked and didn't quite know what to expect. But I think it's an outstandingly good musical. It's one of the best original musicals that's come out in the last 20 years, I would say. It's genuinely outstanding. And this song is just so well written. So yay, let's get back to watching it, the original version. Come on, Groff.
Remember we made an arrangement when you went away. Now you're making me mad. Remember, despite our estrangement, I'm your man. You'll be back, soon you'll see. You remember you belong to me. You'll be back, time will tell. You remember that.
Oh, he's just so good. This is one of the most perfect performances I think I've ever seen. And I don't know whether it's that he's only really in this song. He turns up a bit later on and does something, but he's basically, this is his only song. What I love about the way Jonathan Groff performs this song is he does it with this slightly unhinged, maniacal kind of, but controlled, because he's a king. So of course you'll probably know from history lessons, King George III is the king that went mad, known as Mad King George. He's also known as Farmer George because he really liked ploughing the fields and things, which is lovely. But he did have some mental health issues and things. And so you kind of, the way Groff performs this, he kind of has that hint of madness slightly behind his eyes, like you don't quite know what he's going to do, because kings back then could just cut your head off. And if it was a king that was not 100% in his right mind, it could be quite dangerous. And one of the things I love about this song is count the number of times he blinks in this song. I think it's a grand total of 7, possibly 8 in the entire song. And we blink every couple of seconds normally. But he hardly ever blinks. And it's that kind of unbroken stare, oh, hurts my eyes after a while, that makes him look slightly more unhinged. So yeah, count the blinks in this song and you'll see. It's another amazing thing that he can do. Singing and not blinking. What can't the man do? Right, let's carry on.
I served you well. Oceans rise, empires fall. We have seen each other through it all. And when push comes to shove, I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. Da 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 da.
It's a little wiggly walk. Fabulous walk. Look at that. Apparently Beyonce saw it and copied that walk because she loved it so much. gorgeous falsetto.
You'll be the one complaining when I am gone. And no, don't change the subject.
I'm going to pause it there. It's a bit real. That's a lovely frieze. Look, where you can see all the spit on his face. There was a whole thing about Jonathan Groff and his spit when this came out on Disney Plus. I think I watched it 15 times in the first 2 days. Yes, I am a Hamilton fanatic. I have a problem. I just remember watching him sing that and going, wow, that's a lot of spit to come out of a person. And loads of people were commenting online the same, like, how much does he spit? Is he normally a spitter? And Jonathan Groff is interviewed saying, yes, I've always been quite a spitter when I sing. And it kind of adds something to the performance in a strange way. I wonder if it hit anyone in the front row, or whether they would have taken that as a memento from the show. It's like, you know, getting a badge or a T-shirt. You're getting Jonathan Groff's spit.
'Cause you're my favorite subject, my sweet submissive subject.
It's lovely when his hand comes in like that.
Royal subject forever.
You can see that tension and that aggression.
And ever and ever and ever.
That's a bit when he holds it
You'll be back
without blinking.
like before. I will fight the fight and win the war for your love, for your praise, and I'll love you till my dying days. When you're gone, I'll go mad. So
And there's the word. When you're gone, I'll go mad. And he literally does. He literally does. And one of the things that historians say about King George III, one of the things that did send him, that didn't help with the madness anyway, that kind of helped push him into that kind of very dark period of his life, was losing America. He was the king that lost America, because obviously at this point it's the revolution, and America free themselves from the Brits. We're no longer in charge of them. They go off and do their own thing, and become the America that we know today. So they have to form their own country, make their own laws, and all that kind of thing, which we see during Hamilton. We see the founding fathers creating the country and how it's going to be run. And King George doesn't really quite know what to make of all that, because he's grown up in a family where you inherit the crown. That's what you do. You're born into royalty. That is what you do. And there's a line he says in one of the reprises of this song. He says about George Washington stepping down, you know, not going to be president anymore after his 4-year term. He says, I wasn't aware that was something a person could do, because in his experience, you're king till you die. That's it. There's no other option. So it's such a funny little remark where you're like, yeah, that is what he sees as life, and keeping the status quo, and yes, that was very much what he did. Okay, let's go into the last section.
don't throw away this thing we have, 'cause when push comes to shove, I will kill your friends and family to remind you of my love. Da 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 da.
That's so great, the kill your friends and family thing. He's looking slightly away and then he goes dead centre, and you're not expecting him to say that. You think he'll say something nice, but it's, no, I will kill your friends and family to remind you of my love. Like, that's the way he shows love, is to keep close the things that were close to him, and that's how he rolls as king, as many kings did before. And I love the way Jonathan Groff sings this song. Apparently, he wasn't going to be the king. It was going to be another actor. And there are some photographs of the original actor in the full costume, but then it ended up clashing with something else he was doing, so he had to pull out. And so they brought in Jonathan Groff kind of at the last minute when it opened on Broadway, or it might have been Off-Broadway then, I'm not sure. but he came in and played the part, and I can't imagine anybody else originating that part now. He does it so well. I remember just saying that he has to do a lot with a little. So there's very little. There's no dance routine. He doesn't really do it. He just walks forwards, and he doesn't really have any major props. It's just him, and then other singers come on near the end. But he does so much with so little, and it's such an outstanding moment of the show, and people love it because it's so different to everything else, and he's so nerdy and uncomfortable, and I love that this song sticks out like a sore thumb amongst this super hip, awesome modern musical, because it just shows how out of touch King George III was with America. I love that Lynn musically did such a clever thing with this song. The whole point is that King George III felt very out of touch with America at that point, still felt like he was connected to them, but America was moving on. It wanted, the country wanted different things, and King George didn't get that. He just wanted to keep it the same and be in charge of it, and America were like, no, we've had enough. And so having the rest of the musical is hip hop and rap and R&B, and it's all edgy and cool and modern, and everybody else has got kind of traditional costumes, but their hair is very modern. But King George looks completely traditional. He's got the crown on, the full robes and everything, and he looks very traditional royal. When you see the paintings of royalty, British royalty, they're all wearing this same kind of thing. Even our beloved Queen, who died a couple of years ago, there's even photographs of her in virtually the same outfit, that her royal portrait. So even though we're in 2025 now, there's still portraits like that, and it just reflects how America was moving on and Britain was not. And so the King singing this song in a completely different style, this slightly odd love song, in a very traditional way, is juxtaposed so strongly with everything else in the musical that it just shows how the two don't belong together anymore, and how he's out of touch with them. And particularly the way Groff sings with this exaggerated British accent is just perfect. And how he tries to get everyone to join in and sing, and they all do it kind of out of fear. They all come onto the stage like, quick, we've got to get on. It's so funny, and it just is a slight kind of light relief moment in the musical. I don't like saying light relief because it's still got its own intensity. There's a lot of intense moments he's got here with his kind of impending madness, but it's a really fun song that it always brings the house down in the show. And I've seen quite a few different Kings now, and a couple of my friends have played the King as well, in the West End version of Hamilton. And I'm always fascinated to learn from them how they perform it, because I always think the Jonathan Groff version is literally how it should be performed. And they say, oh, no, we do it slightly more camp, or we do it slightly more aggressive. So it's really interesting to see how other actors take on the role and do it differently. I'm always fascinated by that. But I do love this one. This is the one that I've cut my Hamilton teeth on. So this is always the OG, and my kids love it. We sing this in the car all the time. Right, let's watch the very end. He looks so unhinged doing his da-da-das. And the shoulders. Gets everybody back on to sing, and they rush on. They probably get their heads chopped off if they don't come on and sing. This little head snap on the exact last beat. Oh, perfection. And he just holds it. It's just, oh my God, it's so gorgeous. Please remember to like and subscribe and watch my other videos. I'll be adding some new things very soon. If you've got any suggestions for songs for me to react to, then please send them along to me. I love everything, all styles of music, from hip hop to jazz to grime to musical theatre. Anything you can imagine. Send it along and I will be happy to review it for you. Have a colourful day.